So the big question is this: how do small business owners like us grow our leadership, develop our teams, and scale our business in a way that allows us to get our products and services out to the world, yet still remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Bradley Hamner, and this is the Club Capital Leadership Podcast. Hey, before we get into today's episode, did you know that Club Capital is the largest accounting and advisory firm for insurance agency owners in the country, providing monthly accounting, CFO services, and tax preparation? Check them out at club.capital. Hey, what's up, everybody? All right. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about a time and energy audit. I mentioned it in one of the episodes. And so I wanted to give you some of the details around that. So one of the programs, or one of my coaches, is Dan Martell. He's came out with a great book called Buy Back Your Time. And one of the things he actually recommends in there is doing a time and energy audit. This is something I really wish I had known years ago, because I just never thought about it in such a simple way. And so the idea is that we're going to do this cross-section between the things that we love to do that give us energy, and also the things that don't give us energy. And I think what's interesting about it is it's not, it's one or the other, right? There's no neutral to it. It's either giving you energy or it's taking energy away from you. And we're talking about the task that you do on a daily basis. But the second component to this that you want to be able to think about is the value of that in the business. And so whenever you begin to do this, like especially if you take, say, 2 weeks of capturing this, that's roughly 10 business days of doing it. I've had a couple of clients do this, and within 24 hours, they were sending me Voxer messages saying, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea I was actually doing some of the things." It's like an awareness that we don't realize that we have. And so for me, myself, what was really helpful to me is not so much that I realized that these tasks were draining to me, but it was more so for me to be able to add the second layer, which is, what is the value of this task to the business? Is it actually moving the business forward? And so once you do this and you begin to see these are the tasks that drain me and they are the lowest value task, you can begin to create some assets, playbooks, systems. I love to call them playbooks, to delegate that off of you. Now, how do you do that? How do you actually give that to somebody else? I mean, that's all for another episode. But back to the time and energy audit. I think one of the biggest things for me, and it's certainly been true for the clients, is that they just did not have an awareness of the things that they were doing on a daily basis. Paperwork that was making it to their desk, because that's the way it's been for 20 years. And so for the first time, because they're aware and they're actually capturing either on paper or into a Google Sheet for the first time, they're actually having to write it down and then say, okay, wait a minute, does this task give me energy or does it take energy away from me? And it became really shocking for a lot of people as they look down over the course. And if you do this right, you'll end up with, if it's in a sheet or if it's on a piece of paper, you'll end up with several pages, 2 or 3 pages, if you're writing down everything that you do. Many things that you do you're going to do repeatedly on a day-to-day basis. So they're writing this down and they start to see, oh my goodness, there's a lot of red on this. There's not as much green as I thought. And there's a lot of red that are $1 or $2 sign activities. The ones that are green that you really love to do, and they're $3, if not $4 sign activities, if we can get you to be able to spend more of your time in that zone, that's ultimately what's going to grow the business. That's what's going to accelerate the business forward. And here's the thing. There's only a handful of those activities that are there. We think that we have to be tied to all of these other things because that's just the way that we've been doing it for a long time. So the first step, if you want to begin, there's a lot of conversation around how do you delegate better, et cetera. And I'm not saying that that's not important, but it is so important for you to take the first step of doing a time and energy audit. If you're in our leadership podcast community, I'm actually just going to post in the comments a link to a Google sheet that you can use. We created. I initially did mine on paper, and then I put it into Notion. Some people don't use Notion, don't have access to Notion, and so we put it into a Google sheet. So if you're in our leadership podcast community, I'm going to link it in there for you to be able to have. So hopefully this helps. But even if you don't have access to that asset, still take a notebook, have it in one place. It doesn't need to be in multiple places. Go for 2 weeks. Do a time and energy audit. Is it red? Is it green? And then is it a $1 sign, $2 sign, $3 sign, or $4 sign activities? The more you can spend in activities that are green and $4 sign, the quicker your business is going to grow. Everything else, especially those $1 sign red activities, let's find a way to get those tasks off of you, transfer it to someone else. All right, everyone. Hope this helps. Till next episode, lead well.
Ambition is the first step towards success. It's time to level up your agency. And Coach P Consulting will help you do just that by using the same strategies he used to sell over 700 life insurance policies in 2021 alone. Now, this is not your regular one and done type coaching. You'll get personalized coaching 2 days a week, every week of the month, and you'll get a live look behind the scenes of his team training and an office that's performing at the highest level. There's a reason Coach P Consulting is the fastest growing coaching company for insurance agency owners in the country. Coach P will train your team alongside his own and show you the exact steps they're taking to achieve Chairman Circle, exotic travel, and multi-line presence club, and be one of the few agents to be selected to have a third office. So whether your goal is to be at the top of your local market or amongst the best in the country, this training will give you the strategies and the tactics to get there. For just $250 a month, you'll get high-level coaching each week from someone who is already getting it done at that level, and his strategies work, and it's time to put them to work for you. Sign up at CoachPConsulting.com and get your first full month for free when you mention the Club Capital Leadership Podcast.
Are you an agency owner looking to grow your revenue, increase your bottom line, and better manage your taxes? Club Capital is here to help. Club Capital is the largest accounting and advisory firm for insurance agents in the country, providing monthly accounting, tax strategy, and CFO services. Way more than bookkeeping and your everyday run-of-the-mill tax prep, Club Capital is focused on providing financial and tax advisory services that help you plan and forecast your agency's performance. Their financial dashboards and agency forecasting tools help you better understand your agency's historical performance, create and measure future targets, and see how your agency compares to your peers around the country. Imagine what it would be like to understand the impact to your bottom line when deciding to hire a new employee, or forecast the impact rate changes or commission rates will have on your business. With over $200 million in tracked annual revenue and $140 million in tracked annual expenses, Club Capital has the data and the team to help you make better informed decisions for your agency. They will help you turn that back office stress into the backbone of your agency's success by giving you the tools to take your agency and your leadership to the next level. Visit club.capital today to book a solution overview with one of our business consultants. Club Capital, way more than a CPA firm. So the big question is this: how do small business owners like us grow our leadership, develop our teams, and scale our business in a way that allows us to get our products and services out to the world, yet still remain profitable? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. I'm Bradley Hamner, and this is the Club Capital Leadership Podcast. Hey, before we get into today's episode, did you know that Club Capital is the largest accounting and advisory firm for insurance agency owners in the country, providing monthly accounting, CFO services, and tax preparation? Check them out at club.capital.